Hey, this is Joshua with New Review, coming at you with another new review on the Rooster Teeth flagship show, Red vs. Blue. Red vs. Blue follows two groups of red and blue soldiers based on the Halo game series and explores their world as they basically stumble through adventure to adventure. The first few seasons follow them in their journey through the world that had been created for them. The Freelancer Project, as they were simulation troopers, used to train the next generation of super soldiers, the Freelancers. But since the project ended, they have now basically been forced to figure out their own place in the world, and what they want is to be left alone. Last season, it was an anthology season. The season before that, they were stranded on Chorus and had to fight in a civil war that eventually turned into a resistance to save the planet Chorus, originally from itself, and then from greedy corporations that were trying to kill everyone to take the technology to then become rich. Or, um, but now it's kind of back to its roots in exploring the Freelancer Project this season on season 15 of Red vs. Blue. However, things aren't exactly how they appear. When the season starts out, we're looking for the Reds and Blues. Um, we're following Dylan, a reporter with one of the news stations on the planet Earth, and she's trying to figure out why the Reds and Blues are seemingly attacking and killing UNSC soldiers and UNSC installations. However, as the season is progressed, we're figuring out that it's not the Reds and Blues who are doing the attacking, and we kind of find out what they've been doing since the end of the war on Chorus, which, to be honest, you really have to see that episode. It is kind of wild what they describe happening after Chorus. Um, One little hint: part of it involves robots fighting dinosaurs, and again, just how it's described and what people say and what the dialogue is very very hilarious, and it's a very beautiful segment comedy wise. Anyways, um, once the Reds and Blues have been found, they go there. The Reds and Blues with the reporter and her cameraman go one way, and the former freelancer agents Carolina and Washington go their other way to kind of figure out what's going on, because not only are the Reds and Blues seemingly attacking UNSC installations, all of the freelancers that survived Project Freelancer and its downfall suddenly disappeared. Um, and so as the season's progressing, Dylan and the Reds and Blues find the Blues and Reds. Yeah, they find the Blues and Reds who've been doing the attacking of the UNSC, and they kind of stumble into a conspiracy of the UNSC trying to destroy the freelancers and the sim troopers to kind of cover up their tracks of what they did wrong. Which, for a while, does explain why the freelancers have all disappeared and why the Reds and Blues are being accused of attacking the UNSC, because it's sim troopers who look exactly like them doing the attacking, seemingly in self-defense. However, as the season has progressed, we find out that's not exactly the case. What it appears to be is a massive act of revenge. Um, it is later revealed that the Blues and Reds, yeah, Blues and Reds. This will get confusing for a little bit. The Blues and Reds have been attacking the UNSC for revenge because it is revealed to us that the Sim Troopers signed up to fight for the UNSC, but were sold to Project Freelancer to act as the means to train and test out the freelancers and the technology that the freelancers have developed for themselves. Um, well, the project is developed for the freelancers. Freelancers aren't really scientists; they're soldiers. Anyways, and part of this revenge is killing freelancers, which explains where the freelancers have been disappearing to, because the uh, because the blues and reds have been collecting them and killing them in a fairly grotesque manner. You'll have to see that episode to believe it. Um, and on top of that, they're also planning something really big. It's not really revealed what, although for some reason I imagine it involves an explosion and a black hole. We'll have to just see what that is by the end of the season because we don't know. Um, but what is interesting about the Reds and Blues and the Blues and Reds is that they're kind of mirror images of each other. Um, there, there's a lot of name similarity. For instance, one character that is really iconic with Red versus Blue is the character Church. On the Blues and Reds, there's a character named Temple, and there's a lot of similarities between the Reds and Blues and the Blues and Reds. There are two very funny, let's say, characters in the form of Caboose and Loco. Um, there are two very brown nosy characters, Simmons and his doppelganger, and so on and so forth. And it's really interesting to see these characters mirrored. And not only are they mirrored physically, they're mirrored in the sense that the personalities between, let's say, Church and Temple are completely different. Temple has this exterior of seeming to care about everyone, but inside he's just angry, and that is explained in one of the flashback episodes of Red versus Blue this season. It really highlights the problems that they faced because of being pawns in a much larger game that they didn't know about. And Church, on the other hand, he exudes this anger, this hatred for everything around himself. But in reality, he really does care. Because in the end of season 13, he sacrifices himself to help his friends win the fight against the space pirates and Hargrove and everything that has been going up against them up until that point. And so this dichotomy between the two groups is really showing, especially now since the conspiracy to an extent has been revealed, and some of the Reds and Blues are rebelling against the Blues and Reds, except for Sarge, who just needs something to kill him. For some weird, strange reason, he wants to just die in a blaze of glory. Anyways, and now this season seems to really be kicking up and ramping towards the end, which means that this may be the beginning of another series or overarching arc within the series itself, much like the first five seasons were the Blood Gulch Chronicles, and so on and so forth. This seems to be another chronicle, for lack of a better term. So we will just have to see how this season goes and how it ends. Right now we have part of Lopez on a torpedo flying somewhere in the universe, probably to go find Griff, who decided to not go with the rest of the teams. That is the theory. We shall see if that is the case this Sunday. This is Joshua with New Review. You guys should go check out Red versus Blue.